Okay, today we'll be deriving the next formula, that is formula number 5. Formula number 4, no need to derive, that is simple. Formula number 4 derivation is very simple. We'll use the formula H is equal to ut plus half AT square. Next line we write here ut A0. We can write here since A0 for uniform motion. For uniform motion A0, y A0 as u is equal to v. Initial velocity, final velocity is same. So next line we can write S, U we can replace by V, just at Vt. U and V are all equal. So the formula becomes S is equal to Vt. This is the derivation for formula number 4. For uniform motion, we have the formula H is equal to Vt. For that formula, we are deriving like this. But this derivation is not that important. So this is simple one. Now I'm coming to the formula number 5, derivation of the formula number 5. Formula number 5, the formula was like this, if you remember, dn is equal to u plus half a bracket 2n minus 1. This was the formula, no? We will derive it. dn stands for distance moved by the body in nth second of time. In nth, nth. First, we try to understand the logic behind, okay? I say the distance covered by the body in 10 seconds. 10 seconds and the distance covered by the body in 10 seconds. 10. Are the two statements same or different? I'm saying 10 seconds and 10th. 10th is that particular second. That is in that one particular second. And what is that one particular second? That means after 9 seconds and before 10 seconds. That distance is called the distance moved by the body in 10th second. I'm just giving one example. Suppose from beginning, from the start, a body moves from here to a point B. Say the distance covered is 50 meters, one example. The distance covered by the body in 50 meter time from A to B is 50 meters in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Full time is 10 seconds. From here till full time is 10 seconds. And in 9 seconds, the body is over here, suppose at the point C, and covering a distance of 45 meters. What is the distance covered by, this is the distance covered in 9 seconds. 9 seconds. 9 seconds, the distance is this. 10 seconds, the distance is, what is the distance covered by the body in 10 seconds? 10 seconds will start from here on, from here, yeah, 5. From here on, the distance will start. That means the distance covered by the body in the 10th second of the time is this minus this. 50 minus 45 I will do. That means the answer is coming 5 meters. 5 meters. You can say the distance covered by the body in 10th second of the time, 10th second of the time is 5 meters. So this is the idea used. That means to find the distance covered by the body in nth second of the time. Yes. You wanted to say something? Okay. The distance covered by the body in nth second of the time, or 10 seconds of the time, we are calculating. First, we are finding the full distance covered in 10 seconds. And then we are finding the distance covered by the body in 9 seconds. When these two distances, when we minus, we'll get the distance covered by the body in the 10th second of the time. Similarly, if I ask you how to find the distance covered by the body in 20th second of the time, how will you do? You will find the full distance covered in 20 seconds minus the distance covered by the body in 19 seconds, because after 19 and before 20, the time will be the 20th second. That two distance will subtract. If I say the distance covered by the body, find the distance covered by the body in 50th second of the time. How will you do? Distance moved by the body in 50 seconds minus distance moved by the body in 49 seconds. One lesser than that given time. 50 and minus 49 will do. Full distance covered in 50 seconds and full distance covered in 49 seconds. When you subtract the two distance, you will get the distance covered by the body in the 50th second of the time. So that idea only we use over here to find the derivation of this. So here we will be writing the statement dn is distance moved by the body in the nth second of the time. We write here like this: distance traveled in n seconds. First we write this in n seconds minus distance traveled in n minus 1 seconds. In n minus 1 second. Like I gave the example 10 seconds. First we'll find the distance traveled is 10 seconds minus distance traveled is 10 minus 1, that is 9 seconds. That is the idea used over here. Like in 50th second we are doing 50 minus 49. 20th second we are doing here 20 seconds minus 19. Then between 19 and 20 you will get the 20th second timing coming there. So this is the idea used. So now next line I write that is dn is equal to s distance covered by the body in n second. I write it like this sn minus distance covered by the body in n minus 1. I write n minus 1 there. And what is the formula of s? S formula is ut plus half at square. But that time the timing is t seconds. Now the time is n second. I will be writing that is u, and instead of t I am writing n over here. Un plus half at square, that means an square I will write. Minus here I will be writing u n minus 1 because the timing is n minus 1. Plus half at square, t value I will put n minus 1. Now I will be simplifying and I will get this answer. Let us see how we can get this answer. Un plus half an square minus, I'll open bracket here, you get un minus u, half a I'll keep as it is, I'll expand this one out. A square minus 2ab like this. A minus b whole square formula, I'm expanding it. Now I'll open bracket here. Once you open the bracket, un and this un gets cancelled because un minus un will cancel. Minus is plus, at first I'll write u plus half a n square minus of this value, minus plus is minus, right, half a bracket n square minus 2n plus 1. I'll keep u as it is plus half a I'll take common. Half a is common. Here we are left with n square. Minus is the sign. Minus times of this. That is minus n square. Minus is plus 2n. Minus plus is minus 1. This n square cancels. We have the answer coming. U is plus half a bracket 2n minus 1. This is the value of dn. This is the formula of the distance moved by the body in the nth second of the time. Nth second of the time. dn represents that. Distance moved by the body in the nth second of time. Nth. This is something new formula for you, and we are deriving like this. All right. Which part? I gave the example. Did you follow the example? Beginning, I gave the example. If you have to find the, okay, once again I repeat. If you have to find the distance moved by the body in the 10 seconds, 10th second, how do you write? Tell me. How do you find? You will first find the distance moved by the body in 10 seconds. Minus distance moved by the body in 9 seconds, one lesser than that. Am I right or wrong? Tell me. Same way, if you have to find the distance moved by the body in 20th second of the time, how will you do? Tell me. 19 seconds. Very good. That's what I am wanting. That means next time you will take the distance moved by the body, time value will be one lesser than that because in that one particular second you are finding. No. The same way we are doing here. Distance moved by the body in n seconds. Suppose n value is 20. Just now you said no. Then minus distance moved by the body in 19 you are saying. 19 also is telling what? 20 minus 1. No. The same way. If I write 9 n over here, I have to write n minus 1. If I write 20 here, I have to write 20 minus 1. That is 19 I will write. Understood now? Okay, that is what is the formula of distance moved by the body in 10 seconds? What is the formula? Ut plus half at square. No, this is the formula. No, you know this formula. This time, what is t? T is the time, no, distance moved by the body in t seconds. T seconds. Instead of t, and this is n over here. I like n. Then over here, n minus timing is n minus 1. I take instead of t, I'm writing u, t value, I'm putting n minus 1. Understood? Okay, good. You are clarifying. It's very good habit, and I like it. You ask for clarification. Don't keep any dots with you. Is it all right? Huh? This one is, I open the bracket here, un minus u half a minus 1 whole square. And then open bracket here, this and this gets cancelled. And then minus minus plus u, I'll write first. Half a square, I'll copy it. Minus plus sign is minus, I'll copy this one. I'll take half a common and then within bracket, and you're getting the answer. Only simplification you have to do later on. I think this formula derivation we have done, isn't it? Understood? Yes, boys. Yes, tell me, fast. Okay, now listen. Yesterday I gave you the formula for this also, no? Like vertical motion going up, going down. We did that yesterday. How to change the formula, how to change the sign and all. Okay, now listen. Do you know time of rise is always equal to the time of fall? If a body takes 5 seconds time to go up, how much time will it take to come back, to fall down? It will take the same time. It will take same time. The people think that while it's returning back, it will move faster. So that is not the case. That does not happen. So time of rise is equal to the time of fall, provided that the air resistance or friction is negligible. In that case only, air resistance by the air, that is friction, is to be neglected. So let us prove this fact. Okay, this is also a kind of proof, right? Here show that question may come with show that time of rise is equal to time of fall. We'll show this. Time of rise is equal to time of fall. How to prove it? Let us prove it mathematically. I gave you the information. Time of rise is equal to time of fall. But let us prove it. How it is time of that the time of rise is equal to time of fall. Now for proving it, we do like this. First we take vertical upward motion we are taking. Okay. In both the motion rise and fall time, what is same, what is constant? Height travels and the height falling down is the same. The h value is same in both the cases. First I'll find the time of rise. How much time it will take to rise? Let us find the time of rise. I'll be using the formula this one. V is equal to U minus GT. Why minus sign? Because it's going up against gravity, so minus sign. When it reaches the maximum height, what is the value of V? The value of V becomes 0 at the maximum height. When it reaches the maximum height, final velocity is 0. But the final velocity becomes 0 only when the body reaches the maximum height. Then the velocity value is 0, then it's returning back. U, I'll keep saying because we are throwing it with the initial velocity U minus GT. GT will become this, so GT value will become U. Therefore, T value will become U by G. You can take this as a formula of time of rise. T means time of rise. Time of rise value becomes how much? U by G. Mark this as equation 1. So this also becomes a formula of time of rise. You may use this formula directly. Time of rise formula is U by G. I give one example. A piece of stone is thrown vertically up with a velocity of 20 meters per second, 20. How much time will it take to reach the maximum height, or what is the time of its rise? We can do directly here. We are throwing with the initial velocity of 20. So I'll put the value of u 20 and g value is 10. So 20 by 10, the answer is 2. You can say directly that 2 seconds it will take to rise up. So this becomes a formula. Time of rise formula, we have u upon g. This one you can take it as a formula. Did you get my point what I'm saying, boys? Okay, now, yeah, tell me if anything is not clear, please clarify. Yeah? All right. Okay, now I'll be finding the height up to which the body is rising. Let us find. I'll use another formula here. V squared is equal to u squared minus 2gh. V value is 0. We know the body is reaching the maximum height. This vertical motion only I'm taking. This is u squared minus 2gh. 2gh will come this side is equal to u squared. Therefore, h value will come u squared by 2g. Mark this is equation number 2. This is the formula of h. H means height of rise, maximum height, or you can take this as h max. H max. H max means maximum height reached by the body. Maximum height reached by the body. And the formula of that maximum height formula becomes u squared by 2g. So this formula also you can learn by heart, or you must make it a habit of using this formula. You can do it directly without using this one concept way. Directly you can use this formula to find maximum height. I give one example. A stone is thrown up with a velocity of 20 meters per second. And time is calculated by using this formula 20 by 10. I have done answer 2. Now find the maximum height reached by the piece of the stone, or up to what height the stone reaches and returns back before returning back. So let us find this value. We can put u value 20, like 20 square, that is 400. G value I take 10. 400 by 20. The answer will come 20 meters. So that is the stone will reach a height of 20 meters before returning back. Or that is the maximum height reached by the stone. We can use this as a formula of finding the maximum height. So these are becoming even the formulas. So please, I put them under block. This also you put in the block, so that this formula can be used directly in order to work out any problems. Okay. Now I'll take the vertically downward motion here. Downward motion, I've shown it by the arrow. Downward motion I'm taking now. Height, we know in both the motion, height is same, height is constant. So I'll be using the formula of height h is equal to ut plus half gt square. This time I take the sign plus out here. Why plus? Because downward motion g is positive. Keep h as it is. U value 0. No, when going down time, when the body falls down, what is the initial velocity? There it is 0. So I take this value 0, 0 into t plus half gt square. This t is the t of fall, time of fall. H value I'll put the same, because H value is same height is falling down. The body goes up and returns back. That means the height is common in both the cases. H value I'll put this value here. Put that value. U square by 2g. 0 into 2 is 0. Here I'll write half gt square. 2 and 2 I'll cancel. This g will come down. It becomes u square by g square is equal to t square. Square will go, root will come. This is becoming u by g after taking the square root. And this t is the value of what? T of fall. Time of fall. This t stands for time of falling this height, same height, falling the same height. That means the body is returning back to the same point from where it was thrown. So what is your observation now? Look at the equation number 1 and equation number 3. This is equation number 3. From equation 1 and equation 3, write down here from equation 1 and equation 3, we have time of rise is equal to time of fall. We proved it. This is how we can prove time of rise equal to the time of fall. But there is one limitation or one restriction is there on this proving that we are not considering the friction or the upthrust. The effect of upthrust is not taken into consideration. Because as the body goes up, there will be fluid in the air, or air also gives upthrust. So we are not considering the resistance offered by the air and the upthrust value we are not taking into consideration. So this is the proof. Understood? Okay, okay. Thank you. Now I'll talk about some motion graphs. Okay, motion graphs. Whether you have idea of graph or not, I'll give you a little idea of the graph. Okay, because this thing is actually done in the lower class, maybe class 9 and all. We were taught about the graph. What is a graph? We say a graph is a pictorial representation of the relationship between two variables. So we draw two lines on your vertical line and the horizontal line for a graph. Vertical axis is called y-axis. Horizontal axis is called x-axis. I think you all know about it. And suppose it represents two variables. Whatever is the first variable mentioned, that will come here. Second variable will come here. I said draw velocity time graph. So velocity will be here, time will be here. Draw mass acceleration graph. Mass will be here, acceleration will be here. Whichever quantity is mentioned at first, that will come here on y-axis. And the second quantity will come here, between which you are finding a relationship or pictorial representation you are doing. I said draw VI graph, voltage current graph. So V will be here, current will be here. I think you got this point. Now draw a graph of V against X. V will be here, X will be here. Draw a graph of displacement time or distance time graph. Distance will be here, time will be here. This distance or displacement versus time. Displacement versus time. So we draw accordingly. Okay, you got my point. Okay, now suppose I have distance here and time here, one example. That is, this is displacement time graph, we call it. Now this graph will have some nature like this. Okay, what is the nature of the graph? Suppose if the graph comes in the form of straight line. Straight line. How do we find the slope of the straight line? I think in class 10 we used to do the gradient and slope. We used to find of a straight line. Gradient is tan theta angle. This angle is called slope. This angle is called slope, theta. I'll change this into a right angle triangle here like this. And tan theta, I will find tan theta formula is perpendicular by the base. This is the perpendicular. This perpendicular we call changing the value of this axis by changing the value of this axis, delta t. Change. I say this is suppose 10 and this is given 30. How much is the change? 30 minus 10. You like delta t value, you will be writing here 20. And if this side is also 10 and this side is suppose 50, what is the difference here? 50 minus 10, delta t value will come 40. But if it is origin is 0, then 30 minus 0, it will come same only. This minus this, just add 30 there. And 50 minus 0, this will come 50 only. And then you can divide two of them, and you get the value of slope. So this will give the value of slope. This line will have this angle is positive, acute angle, this is positive slope. So this line will have a positive slope. We can say that. And the slope, how to find, I told you the method how we can find this divided by this. Changing the value of y-axis divided by changing the value of x-axis. When we are using the formula tan theta is equal to P by D, perpendicular upon the base. Slope is this angle. One line is here and one line is suppose shown like this way. Which of them has a greater slope? We'll say the second line because this angle is becoming more. This angle is becoming more. The second line is having a greater slope, but positive only because it's going this way. So it's having positive slope. Okay. Now, if a line is this way shown, this way, if a line is shown this way, to find the slope, we'll again do this one. This divided by this, changing the value of this divided by changing the value of this. But this line will have a negative slope because this is retarding, this is decreasing or this will have a negative slope. Actually, this angle with the positive direction of x-axis is over here. This angle is theta. We are finding this angle, and this angle we subtract from 180. That's why it becomes negative angle out here. If any line is going like this, it will have a negative slope. But the value of slope, the magnitude of the slope will come this divided by this. Okay, now if a line is having, if the line is parallel to the x-axis this way, parallel to this axis, what is the slope? We say slope is 0. What angle does it make with the x-axis? 0. The slope of this line is 0. We say slope of this line is 0. That means this quantity is not varying. The value of y-axis is constant. The value of y-axis is constant everywhere. It is not changing. It is not varying. So the slope value we can say directly 0 because the line is flat. The slope is 0. If a line is having slope like this way, this will be undefined. Slope is undefined because this is the angle tan 90 degrees infinity. So undefined will be say undefined. It has an undefined slope. Or slope value is infinity here in this case. Then this quantity is constant. This quantity is constant. This quantity is constant. That means this quantity you are not varying. So you are supposed to vary this quantity and see the effect on this. So this quantity, when you don't vary, that means you are not finding any relationship. That's why the slope becomes undefined. Okay. If a line is a variable line like this way, line is variable. We say slope is not constant. Slope is varying point wise. It is changing. But a straight line will have the same slope. Here, the angle value will be the same. Tan theta is perpendicular by base, perpendicular by the same value will come, same value. But if the line is in the form of a curve, non-linear, not a straight line, not a linear line, then it will have a variable slope. Slope will keep on varying. And this time we find the slope, whatever between 2 points you have to find, suppose between this point you have to find suppose A, another point is suppose B. Here what we do, we draw tangent at this point, tangent will draw. What here, at this point we'll draw tangent. Or between these 2 points we'll be making a right angle triangle here like this. This line will consider to be a straight line here. So this value is suppose whatever is written delta D, and this value will be delta T. Between these two we'll find the slope now. This will be the value of slope. This divided by this, and between suppose this point and this point you have to do, then you will draw a line like this, draw the line like this. The answer will come different there. So, and we have a calculus method also for it. Calculus method I will not do now because you will not be able to understand that right now. But different method is there, okay. So for the time being, we'll focus on a straight line, how to find the slope of a straight line. So I showed you already how to find the slope of the straight line. But this will have a variable slope. The value of slope will keep on varying, keep on changing, but it will have a positive slope. Because this line is going like this, it will have a positive slope everywhere. And when the same line comes like this, when the same line comes this way down, it will have a variable negative slope. Variable but negative slope. Variable negative slope. Slope will keep on varying here in this case. Understand? All right. Okay, now this is how we talk about the slope and we give the sign positive and negative accordingly. Okay. Now slope determines something. Okay, we have to check. Slope means you are going to divide this axis by this axis. So you can check it from the unit or you can check it from the formula time and this is seconds. If I divide this value by this value, what I will get, that is unit also gets divided. We get meters per second. Meter per second, does it represent any physical quantity? We say yes, it does. It represents the speed or it represents velocity. That is slope of dt graph, slope of this graph, slope of dt graph, displacement time graph will give the value of velocity or speed, velocity or speed, velocity or speed. Sometimes we find area. Suppose this is the line over here. No, we see the area with the x-axis. This area, this figure formed is a triangle. We find the area or area we find, or whatever figure it will form with the x-axis. We'll find the area of that figure. Just now the figure formed with the triangle. We can find the area of the triangle. But will area of this graph determine something, some significant physical quantity? We'll check that. Area means you have to multiply because you formulate half into base into the height. Time into this one, when you multiply, like meter into second. Do you get anything meter into second? We don't get anything. Meter into second gives nothing. That is area of dt graph is insignificant. Area of dt graph is insignificant. We'll just put a cross mark there. That is, it doesn't find anything. Now I'm talking about dt graph, which is velocity time graph. Velocity unit is what? Meter per second. You're finding changing this value upon changing this value. If I find the slope of vt graph, what will I get? Slope of vt graph will give the slope which you have to divide. This divided by this, no, tan theta, perpendicular by the base. That means you are dividing meter per second divided by second. It becomes meter per second square. It is coming as meter per second divided by further divided by second. Second becomes second square. Meter per second square, what do we do? What do we measure in meter per second square? Acceleration. That means slope of vt graph will determine what? Acceleration. Acceleration. It will give the value of acceleration. And what about area? Area means you have to multiply these two, well, axis. Slope means divide and area means multiply. When you multiply these two values like meter per second into seconds, second cancel. What is the answer left over? Meter. The area of vt graph will give the value of distance or displacement. Distance. Yeah. Because this is a straight line motion, no, the distance and displacement will be the same. So that means for vt graph, both of them are significant, velocity, slope as well as the area. In vt graph, only slope was significant. Area was giving us nothing. You have to check yourself whether slope is giving, slope is you're dividing, are you getting anything, any significant quantity, any physical quantity are you getting or not? You have to check. And area means you have to multiply these two values and check what are you getting. Similarly, if I say it is acceleration time graph, meter per second square upon second. Slope, what will the slope of vt graph determine? What will it determine? Slope means this divided by this. Acceleration by time. You get nothing. Meter per second square by second. It becomes meter per second cube. Do we get anything? Okay, I'll just take one more minute. Okay. Acceleration time graph, slope gives us nothing. But what about area? Area will give what? Area means you have to multiply. These two values you have to multiply. Meter per second square into second. Second cancel. Yeah, it will give velocity. Meter per second is coming. The answer left over. So this is the idea of any graph. Okay, if there is any graph, we think about this slope when we think about its area. If both are significant, we may have to find both if the question demands. Or if only one of them is significant, we definitely question will be asking you to find that only. I think you got the idea. Okay. So tomorrow we'll do something on this one graph. Okay, some derivation of the formula I'll show you using graph method, and you got the idea of graph. General idea also I gave it here only. Okay. So today's time is up, so we continue tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.